I don't know about you, but the hold that Elizabeth Swann had on me ever since I first watched the first Pirates of the Caribbean movies is like no other. I recently rewatched the trilogy. Yes, to me, Pirates only has three movies. What came after the first trilogy doesn't exist in my world. So, anyway, I rewatched the movies and it got me thinking the whole storyline of this iconic trio never would have taken place if she hadn't done one single thing. Well, two things technically. Steal the medallion from Will Turner and lie about her identity when captured by the pirates. Think about it. Her saying that her last name was Elizabeth Turner led to her getting captured, Will getting involved, Will having to go to Jack for help, Elizabeth and Will ending up together, them getting captured for returning the favor to Jack, having to free themselves, ending up on Davy Jones' locker, reuniting with his father, losing her father, becoming a badass, getting married, dying, and then having to sacrifice life at land for an eternity at sea. That's a lot to unpack. And yet, that's what I'll be doing today. I will go over how a single change of events would affect the different character dynamics and the storyline in general if Elizabeth Swann hadn't stolen the medallion and had lied about her identity. So, first, I want to touch on the curse and its delayed consequences. Imagine the medallion, the key to the Aztec curse, staying put in Port Royal for years. Will Turner, who's a blacksmith, wouldn't have much reason to go to sea, and the medallion might never end up in the ocean. The curse would lie dormant, and the pirates of the Black Pearl would be searching elsewhere, leaving Port Royal in peace. In this alternate scenario, Elizabeth Swann would probably marry Commodore James Norrington. Their marriage would be one of a social expectation. Meanwhile, Will Turner's love for Elizabeth would remain hidden. He only confessed his feelings after risking his life for her during the adventures. Without these adventures, he might never have found the courage to tell her. Now let's say the curse was activated at the same time as in the movie, but Elizabeth didn't hold the medallion and didn't lie about her identity. When the Black Pearl attacked Port Royal, Elizabeth would still call for parley, trying to negotiate with Captain Barbossa. However, without the medallion as leverage, Barbossa might execute her right then and there, cutting short to any chance for negotiation. Elizabeth's death would drive both Will Turner and Norrington to seek revenge, but without Jack Sparrow's help, they'd have a tough time. The Black Pearl is a legendary ship, and tracking it down without inside knowledge would be nearly impossible. Enter Jack Sparrow, the tricky and self-serving pirate. Desperate for revenge, Will would turn to Jack for help, and Jack, well, being Jack, might promise to help Will only to ditch him as soon as they reach Tortuga. Or he might use Will as a bargaining chip to get the Black Pearl. Jack's unpredictable nature would add even more complications to Will's revenge quest. In this reimagined narrative, the delayed activation of the curse and Elizabeth's honesty would lead to a very different story, a tragic one. The curse would stay dormant, Elizabeth would marry Norrington, and Will's love would stay unspoken. If the curse were activated at the same time, Elizabeth's honest attempt and negotiation would lead to her execution, driving Will and Norrington on a hopeless quest for revenge. Jack Sparrow's involvement would only make things worse with his constant scheming and betrayal. This alternate timeline paints a darker, more tragic version of the movies, where the adventures are replaced with lost opportunities and betrayal. But that seems all so depressing. Instead, let's imagine that the medallion stays hidden in a drawer among Will's belongings, and the pirates never attack Port Royal. This would erase the entire Barbossa and Aztec curse plot from the story. Even without the cursed pirates, Jack would still end up in Port Royal and get captured. Facing execution, Jack, well, being Jack, would undoubtedly find a clever way to escape. Maybe he would trick guards or pull off a daring stunt. Either way, Jack would be free, but without the Black Pearl, his beloved ship. Now, with the freedom but no ship, Jack's first priority would be to acquire a vessel. He could likely find a way to steal one while in Port Royal. Once he has his ship, his next stop would be Tortuga to hire a crew. Here, we could have two paths that take place. Jack could go after the Black Pearl, which would be nearly a death sentence with the Aztec curse on the pirates, and it would be a lost cause. Alternatively, Jack might choose to settle for whatever ship and crew he can gather in Tortuga until he can steal or get something better In this case, he would just follow your typical pirate scenario with pirate adventures, treasure hunts, and lots of drinking. If Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann hadn't been part of Jack Sparrow's journey, the storyline involving Davy Jones would still unfold, but in a vastly different manner. Without Elizabeth's presence, Jack would have a harder time locating the chest containing Davy Jones' heart. And motivated by the imminent threat of the Kraken, his primary goal would be to free himself from the Kraken's relentless pursuit. And so I like to believe he's gonna do whatever he can to find that chest. Jack would still seek out Calypso to gain any advantage he could, including obtaining his jar of dirt. The major obstacle remains the key to the chest, which is in Davy Jones' possession, and without Will's intervention to steal the key from the Flying Dutchman, Jack's gonna have to come up with a new strategy. Jack could use the help from an insider, which is Bootstrap Bill, Will's father, who is bound to the Flying Dutchman. Leveraging their past relationship, Jack might promise Bootstrap freedom in exchange for the key. In this scenario, Bootstrap would be the one to steal the key instead of Will, which would be very risky as I don't think Bootstrap would be as slick as Will when stealing the key, but it's still manageable. Once Jack has the key in the chest, he would hold all the cards, and with no Norrington or Will around to step in between him and his goal, which is immortality, and being in command of the Flying Dutchman. With Jack as the new captain of the Flying Dutchman, he would gain immense power at a great cost. He would be bound to the sea, and he would sacrifice his freedom on land for eternal life and command over the seas, which he refers to as his one true love. This outcome would align with his long-standing desire for immortality, yet it would also trap him in a fate similar to Davy Jones. Now I want to touch on the storyline involving Cutler Beckett and the East India Trading Company. It would still play out, but Jack's new position as the captain of the Flying Dutchman would change the dynamics. Beckett's pursuit of control over the seas would put him at odds with Jack, leading to a different kind of conflict. Without Will and Elizabeth, the formation of the Brethren Court and the gathering of the pirate lords at World's End would still occur, but Jack's role would be more pivotal as the captain of the Flying Dutchman. Jack's influence would be crucial in releasing Calypso and uniting the pirates against Beckett. However, that would also mean we would miss out on the most epic fight on the whole trilogy, and also the best proposal in movie history. I don't make the rules. So it's safe to say that 8-year-old Elizabeth not stealing the medallion would have altered a lot of events. And that, my friends, is the butterfly effect. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my take on this iconic trilogy. Let me know if you think I missed anything, or if you think things would play out differently, or if you think nothing would have changed at all. I'd love to have your input. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know which what if scenario you want me to do next. I'll see you in my next video.